Hello and welcome to Tear Down These Walls podcast. Here we tear down the walls of silence, shame and stigma one story at a time. And for episode 15, I have Michelle Martin Boylan, isn't it? Yeah. So Michelle is from Sheriff Street.
I am.
And I saw you on TikTok and I was like, I know her face. And then you text me, I think, was it a day later?
And then somebody had mentioned to me later on in the same day that you were doing podcast, and I thought, okay, I'm about to step into a new level of life and I need to have a platform and put myself out there and be vulnerable and not be uncomfortable. Just rip the band-aid off. Text Lisa, shoot your shot. If she says no, whatever.
It was so strange.
Yeah.
Because I knew you and I knew you from a kid, but we didn't cross paths as kids.
No.
But I knew you were Betty Martin's daughter. I knew your ma.
You on TikTok, I thought, I know that girl, but I couldn't place it. I knew who you were as such in the born family of Sheriff Street, but I didn't know you.
Yeah. And it's gas because we're the one age. We grew up in the same area. But my first thought was, Michelle was one of the quiet ones. She wasn't wild. And I was like, that's how. Yeah. But it was so strange, but great to actually, and you're only up the road from me as well. You're only up in Balbriggan. So look, Michelle, I usually start with, because we'll keep going, where you obviously came from and what was your childhood like, if you want to start for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was born in Philshanahan House and lived there probably for a year. We got a house in Oriel Street, but my nana did. Me, my mum, my dad, my brother Jonathan still lived with me nana.
How many of you is us from Michelle?
There was 8 altogether. I'm the eldest of 8.
Was there 8 of you?
Yeah, it was 8 kids altogether, yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't think there was that many.
Yeah, 8 of us. Had to grow up very quickly.
Where are you?
I'm the eldest.
You're the eldest too? Oh God, we'll have loads to talk about.
Yeah. So we got a house then in Cannon-Lillis Avenue and lived with my ma and my dad in Cannon-Lillis Avenue for a good few years. But I was always in my nana's house. I was always back and forth. It was so close.
Same as me. I grew up in 2 houses.
We practically ate in my nana's house every single day and just went back and forth.
So did we.
House,
We were the same.
And that was just a normal life. That's what
I think loads of people did go to their ma's for food, didn't they?
Back. Because my ma cooked dinner, but she did it in my nana's house, and so everybody got fed in my nana's house, and it was like bleeding Euston Station. the hall was just buggies parked everywhere. It was just a full house. It was a fun house. I had a good childhood.
Yeah.
But you don't get out unscathed. You know, I was loved and I was nurtured, and I feel like I have childhood traumas that I'm not ready to go into completely.
Yeah.
But I will talk about my childhood, of course.
Yeah.
And do you know what? What I do get from it, especially in hindsight and reflection, that I hear from a lot of other people, I was loved. I knew there was a lot of love in your house. Like everybody in the 80s in our city, Dublin, like it was difficult and nobody got out without.
Because I remember you said that to me, because I was thinking, and as families go, your family would have been one of the quieter families in the community.
Yeah.
So when you got in contact, I was like, to me, you didn't have any difficulties, to me. Because I would have came from a background and all my family, a lot of them was into criminality and, taking drugs and selling drugs. Yeah. So I would have looked at you and thought, they have a lovely lifestyle and house and they don't have any of that stuff.
But you know what? We didn't have a lot, but we did have love. Yeah. And I think that's a huge factor in your growth as you come into adulthood. Yeah, you can have all these issues that happen to you as a child. But the fact that you had love, really, it's like a balm on the pain of everything else. It kind of takes this.
It's something to go back to, isn't it? You always have that at your core. Because I'll always say to people, when people say, oh my God, how did you get through that? And I always knew I was loved, Michelle. Yeah. Like I'd me nana, I'd Paddy, I'd me ma. And I had all the other stuff going on. But because it saved me so many times, because no matter what I did, there was always a set of open arms.
You had support there.
Yeah.
And like most of my friends were my cousins. I was very quiet, didn't really mix very well. I did have a couple of friends, of course, and I got on with everybody in school. But I was socially awkward. I was shy, I think. And I was saying earlier on, like, as an adult, you're filling out your kids' assessment and you're ticking all the boxes going, I definitely had autism. There was something going on there.
There was so many of us that, like even some of my friends, and you were in St. Lawrence O'Toole as well.
Yeah.
And a couple of my friends now will say I was definitely dyslexic. And I would have known, but they were put into the stupid class. Do you remember Miss Nagel's class? And you had to be sent in there. And when you
I
look
would have been
back,
called a lick in school because I was a people pleaser. So I was a submissive child. Even going into adulthood, I was still like, I'm a recovering people pleaser type of thing. And I'm overcoming all those versions of myself that I used as masks and identities to just want a sense of belonging or feel like you fit in. You didn't know. I didn't know I was doing that in the moment. It's only in hindsight. On your healing journey.
We spoke about that while we were having a cup of coffee out there, and we were admiring each other's necklaces.
We've matching green crystals.
Yeah, and I always wear these, and I was like, it's just a feeling I get when I dress. But I've always felt there was an earthy side to me, nearly like a little hippie in there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't show that. Like, but I wanted to belong, and the community I was from, if I was wild and I was doing all the mad things, well, I knew I would.
You fitted in.
I fitted in with the group of people. So it's like, you're in your 40s and you're like, who am I?
Yeah.
You know, there's this person screaming to get out inside.
And for me, like, I would have been, again, like, you had to grow up very quick in a house when you had the eldest of 8 kids. I was helping in my nana's house. I was helping in my ma's house. And eventually I ended up living with my nana full time. She had a fall. I think I was probably about 13 or 14, and I was living with my nana. Lived with my uncle as well. And my uncle was a heroin addict, still is. But, you know, that was just the background he came from as well.
So there was only your nana, you and your uncle?
Yeah. No, at Forsby, we lived with me. My auntie lived there as well. And then they moved out and had their own place too. So mostly it was just me, my uncle. And then one of my cousins moved in for a few years as well. And then there was always kind of cousins coming in and going. But I was living there up until the age of 18 when she threw me out because I was very bold and I wasn't coming home after the party and at the weekend.
Your shadow side came out, Michelle.
I at the age of about 15 or 16 and found the nightclub scene and found ecstasy. Let's just rip that band-aid off. And, you know, and then I found a version of myself that I never knew existed because I was so awkward and shy and uncomfortable.
I never remember seeing you out as a kid and I was out on the streets.
I wouldn't have been out. I
never saw you, Michelle. I never remember having a conversation. You were a year ahead of me in St. Lawrence O'Toole's. I've never had a conversation with you and we're from.
Yeah, and even any of the things I did as a child, I would have done them through my school friends, school-related things, you know, but never, I never hung around on the streets, ever. I was just in the house. I'm still very comfortable on my own, in my own company. I have to kind of push myself to engage, like I'm like an introverted extrovert. When I'm in somebody's company, I enjoy it.
And you never thinking of sitting here talking to you.
I could sit on my own give me a book and I'm on my own forever. Like it doesn't bother me.
So I like that as a kid as well.
I was like that as a kid as well.
What did you make of it? Because you were quiet and we lived in an area that was really sort of full on, let's say, and there was always excitement, as I'd call it, like rob cars and police. And what was it like for you being really quiet or growing up in an area like that?
I fit in a role as just being like a helper. I was always doing things, whether it was minding your siblings, whether it was helping clean the house, whether it was living with my nana and doing the same things. Like I left school when I was 15, got a job, started.
Did you leave at 15, Michelle?
I did.
And I would have never took you as someone that left school because you were real quiet and, you know, people like that usually stayed in
But
school.
you know what, it's funny because even at one, there was a thing that happened in school one time where I was called to the principal's office. I nearly died because I was a very good, studious child. I always wanted to be acknowledged for being a good girl.
To be good.
Yeah,
you're a good girl.
that was how I showed up, you know, that was the armour I wore. I was a good girl and, you know, if I just did everything I was meant to do, then I was rewarded for that, if you know what I mean.
No, I totally understand it.
You know where that came from or how I began that identity, I suppose, but that's exactly what I did. And I suppose, again, like, you're growing up in a house with a lot of kids. And I
was going to say, do you think like you had the caregiver's role and that's where it came from?
100% again, like, you know, because like my mum and dad are amazing, but they had their struggles as well, do you know what I mean? And now I look at my own self as a parent and I do too, you know what I mean? And I had to forgive myself for what I didn't know and I didn't know it, you know what I mean? Just in a sense that I wish I was more like on the ball and aware, and I wasn't, do you know what I mean?
Well, it's like the things I would have spoke about as a kid with my own ma, like I ended up doing the very same, Michelle. Like I ended up, you know, numbing out. I ended up so many things like that. I used to say, I'll never do that. And you don't realise until you're a parent and you're struggling, and then you're, you know, your husband dies and you start numbing out. And then I could really understand how difficult it would have been for my own mother growing up in them circumstances. And I stopped blaming, whereas that's what I did for years. It's all your fault. It's all the community's fault.
And then you find a substance that numbs you, and now you're like, oh my God, this is like a new lease of life. Hence the party scene and engaging in that up until a certain point. And like I had my first son when I was 21, got pregnant when I was 20, had him at 21. With me, we've got together 25 years now.
Yeah.
And I got postnatal depression. But what I realized was, like, I was always anxious and a little bit depressed, and I never really realized
You thought that was
my
just
state.
your
It was just
normal
who I
self.
was, yeah. And it only got amplified after I had a baby, and it became very noticeable then. And you go to a doctor and they put me on prescription drugs, and you're taking them, and they're good for a while. They work until they don't work, and then you go back, and then they're up in the dose, and then like, so that was the cycle that I lived for, God, most of my adult life, just going back, getting more prescription drugs, and whether it was anxiety, like Valium, Xanax. I was on Lyrica, I was on Prozac, and I only ended up on Lyrica kind of, I'd say, when I turned 30, because then I was having all these physical pains in my body. I know now that these mental health problems that I was having were creating the physical pain in my body, but at the time I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And the doctor was giving me more prescription drugs, and you think this is fine because a well-meaning doctor is medicating you, and you think this is okay.
Well, we're taught, aren't we?
We're okay. Now I know, because of the journey that I'm on, that they only ever treat the symptoms and never the cause. Like, the symptoms are spiritual, emotional, and mental. And unless you treat the root cause, the symptoms are always going to show up again.
It's like the quick fixes,
It's a
isn't
quick
it?
fix. And, I have no problem with anybody taking medication. I would never take it again. I'm clean of it for 5 years now. But it probably saved me life. In fact, I'm sure that it did
At the
times.
time.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's like when things get too much for you and you're in that much emotional pain and you're struggling and you're suffering, and you take this substance, whatever it is, whether it's prescribed Xanax, alcohol, heroin, and you feel, well, I mean, you feel relaxed enough to be able to get through the day.
Yeah.
I always let out breaths because I still remember what alcohol did for me.
I know.
Michelle, like it soothed something in me. And as I say, that
meeting a need that you
medicine
don't even know.
worked for years for me. Absolutely. Until you just said it stops working and it doesn't work anymore. And then you're getting other symptoms from that.
And then you're taking more things, and then you're chasing more numbing pains, like between anything with codeine in it and sulfidine and Nurofen. Like, and again, realise, because again, you're not an addict. You're not taking anything that a doctor has not given you.
Is that what you thought?
Yeah, because I was hopeful. I would never class myself as being an addict. I still don't feel like I was, but at the same time. The reality is what the reality is, and so you're kind of saying to yourself, like, there has to be another way. There has to be another way. And like all of us, we don't change until we're on our knees in desperation and pain.
The power of desperation, Michelle.
And it was my first experience with surrendering to a higher power. And I always have faith in God. I always believed in God. We went to Mass. My dad's a Eucharistic minister.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so we always went to Mass. We always had that faith instilled with us, say our prayers at night. Like, even when I met my husband, I used to say to him, don't talk to me for 10 minutes. He'd be like, okay.
I definitely didn't get any of that. My nana brought me to Mass probably once every now and then, saying the rosary, but that was it, Michelle.
So that connection to God for me was very strong my whole life, and it hasn't changed. In fact, it's only gotten stronger through spirituality. But I had to go through this phase where I thought I was cheating on God. I actually went and I spoke to the parish priest. Well, I did. He was at a christening, he was a family friend. He was at one of the christenings with a few drinks on a corner. Then we'll have the conversation. I need to talk to you. I'm having a spiritual crisis. He was like, yeah. So do you know what? Only for him, he was able to say, it's only a sign of intelligence to question everything you were told to believe. He says, so if it feels good in your heart, he says, I don't believe everything that the Bible says. I take what I feel resonates with me, and you should do the same. And that was like my green light to go, because I'd already started to do Reiki. God, this was a good few years ago. And I can even go back a little bit to how that began.
Yeah, tell us a little bit, because I know you spoke a little bit about the party scene. You were 15 and 16, and that lasted for a few years for you.
A few years longer than it should have, Lisa.
Yeah, for us all.
Yeah.
I definitely got me money's worth.
Yeah, it was all like letting your hair down, you deserve it. You're after doing this and you're after doing that. As long as the kids were looked after and the house was looked after, it was myself that wasn't looked after. And you give every piece of what's left to everything outside yourself, and then you run on empty, and it's like you can't pour from an empty cup. Hence the depression getting worse. You didn't even know or understand how to acknowledge the emotions you were feeling in your body. It was never taught to you. You didn't know it was a thing. And then you're pushing them down, numbing them, distracting yourself, constantly hoping it goes away. And we know from a place of knowing now that does not go away.
Doesn't go away.
It only shows up for another day, and it brings its friends, guilt, shame, judgment, and it's a vicious cycle. It's feeling and thinking and feeling, and it's never good, and it gets worse, and it takes you lower.
I spoke to you out there, and I was like, when I gave up the drugs and the alcohol, I thought that I would be cured.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not drinking, I don't take drugs anymore. I gave up cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't feeling, I was still suffering from anxiety.
Yeah.
I had a tight chest. I was, there were so many things. And that's when I sort of realised, like, that was a cure for some of those symptoms, but it wasn't curing all the stuff that was in me, like all those childhood traumas and everything that I was at that pushing down for all them years. And then I was at that adding more stuff to it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, right, so what do I do now? And it's a really slow journey of trying to figure out what it is that I need.
It's unpacking all of the shit that you've pushed down into the crevices of your mind that you never wanted to look at before. Like I had, again, without going into too much detail, sexual abuse in my past as well that I'm not ready to talk about. I will eventually.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know what I mean? I can talk about we're in a private room with private, but I'm just not ready to share.
Of course, yeah.
And so that carries an awful lot of guilt and shame. And, I had to go through the process as well of understanding that you're only a child. You have no control over this, and again, there's an awful lot of people who never get out of childhood without experiencing it. And it's very fucking sad, you know what I mean? And all of the things I've experienced as a spiritual counselor now, and a clinical hypnotherapist, and a Reiki master, and a Theta healer, all of the people who come to me, I have experienced most of what they've experienced in a way. And I'm able to meet them on a level of understanding that you can't get just from reading a book, which is no harm in that. I'm not saying that there is.
No, but personal experience.
Yeah, personal experience, because I've had many experiences with counsellors that I just didn't gel with. Like, I just didn't. And I just felt they don't know me. They don't get this. They're just nodding and writing in that little notebook. I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm talking about on an emotional level. And do you know what? That was probably my judgment at the time, and probably fear of being vulnerable, because I wasn't maybe ready to be vulnerable in that space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my healing journey kind of came from, again, desperation. I didn't want to be here anymore. I had 3 young boys, and the thought of leaving them alone was more painful than the life I was living. So I thought, right. And again, this was then my first experience with surrender. Standing in my kitchen and tears dripping off my chin, looking up to God with my hands in the air, going, you need to take this, because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I still get emotional over it, because it's still one of those places, because you found relief in that decision.
When would you let go and say, look, I really, and just because I always say, I know, because it's not video, and I can see in your eyes that you're right back to that place. I'm feeling those emotions, but I'm thinking about the similarities of the two of us there. I speak about the oratory in Asherini Second Treatment Centre, and being like completely desperate, and I'm all out. I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
I've tried this before and it didn't work for me. Please help me. I'm begging. I actually remember saying to God, I will do absolutely anything that it takes to get well, but I need help.
I need help.
I need a bit of help here. And that was the first time since I was 12.
And you know what? There's something in that. And I don't know exactly, but I do know where it is. But it's like one of those things that you can't really articulate. It's a place in knowing that you know whatever that is, that desperation that you reach out. There was so much heartfelt meaning in that. It was almost like God went, okay, she's ready.
I was being sincere for the first time, and I don't know how long, and I meant it. I wasn't bargaining, the stages of grief, and we bargain. I wasn't bargaining with God. I really said, look, if you help me, I am going to do everything I can in my power, because I was ready to check out, Michelle.
Yes,
I was done.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say that, and I thought what pulled me back was those kids. I thought to myself, right, they're bad now as it is. But if I do this, if I check out of here, what? Because I know what it's like losing a parent and to feel like I was abandoned. And I thought, the dad died only a few years ago. If I do something stupid here, and it wasn't even death, like, suicide, I'm going to jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
The way I was living, I was going to die prematurely.
Yeah.
There was nothing surer, so it was like a slow suicide nearly,
Yeah.
But it's just when you said that, I can relate to that feeling of just, I've surrendered here now.
Yeah. And do you know what happened? Within a day, again, these spontaneous things happen. And again, from the spiritual journey and hindsight They're never just spontaneous. They're always meant to be. My sister-in-law, I always admire her, still do. She was climbing mountains like Mount Everest, like Kilimanjaro,
Wow.
doing it for All Child Aid Ireland. And she was going over to Africa to live and work in the slums of Nairobi in Kenya. And she rang me, she says to me, Michelle, do you want to come over to Nairobi with me? I think it'd be great for you. And my mouth said yeah before my mind.
Yeah, I think I'd be
At
the
this
same.
point, I wasn't even leaving my house. I was collecting the kids late from school or dropping them late from school, so I wouldn't have to speak to anybody in the like. I was so depressed and so, but again, not even really understanding because I was on medication.
You are just numb, zoned out.
I was just like a zombie going around. But when I was in front of people, they wouldn't have known that because
the
masks and everything was grand. And then you'd go home, you were fucking exhausted from pretending to be somebody.
Exhausted. Well, I would call it, you're performing every single day. It's a performance.
Yeah. And again, it's only in hindsight. You don't even know you're doing it in the moment. It's not a conscious thought that you're intending. It's all just trying to survive in the moment. And so I did some fundraising and it got me completely out of my comfort zone. I had to do things in order to get money to go to Africa. And there was a shift in gears, really, Did it make everything okay? No. But I went to Africa and then I saw poverty at a level that I never even knew existed. And these people, you give them a pen and they're like celebrating a pencil and a lollipop and something. They're so happy with so little. You're thinking, what am I fucking miserable about? Like, look
Gave you
these.
Gratitude again.
Yeah. And like, I always like, it was like that ember inside of me that never went out. But as I was over there, it was turning into a flame, you know what I mean? Now I would say it's like a bonfire. But so it was only like experience, and that doesn't change everything. And so, it doesn't, because you're still living your life and you're still thinking your thoughts and you're still.
But it's like a nugget of something that you needed internally.
I needed it. I was the kick in the arse I needed to just like change to what's his name, Dr. Wayne Dyer, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. And so I was able to shift my perception and my perspective on life just enough to make me want more from myself, not just everyone around me, for me.
Well, it has to start with you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and we don't realise that
until you're doing it.
If I do something really good for her and for him, that will make it doesn't last.
Because we grew up thinking like to be selfish is like, or to be self-aware is selfish. To think yourself is selfish, you have to put everyone else first.
We only spoke about it, didn't we?
And this went on from generation after generation. It wasn't just passed on from parent, but this has gone on a very long time, and it's all ancestral and it's in your DNA, and it's almost carried like some sort of program within the system without even understanding or knowing that it's happening. So I went to Africa again. This time I went with me sister-in-law again, but she had her own charity, Whistle, and she still has, and it's amazing. To bring volunteers over all the time. If anybody ever wants to go, like, contact me. I'll put you onto it because it's a game changer, and honestly, everybody should do it. So I went over again. This time I went over and there was a couple of Reiki masters there. I don't even think you were masters at the time, but we were doing Reiki. Never heard Reiki. I hadn't got a clue where it was. But I was spiritual and I was into it. I was like, yeah, fuck it, give her a go. And so one of the nights after I've been out doing this stuff, because it's heroin what you see over there, In the moment you don't react to it because these people don't know any different. So you're looking at it from your light.
Stay normal.
But when you go back to the house that night, that's when you're kind of your emotions
reflecting everything.
Yeah, and you're just like, fucking hell, like this is hard to do, but at the same time so rewarding on so many levels. But anyway, got Reiki done, and I'm telling you, I had an experience that I can't even articulate even to this day. It's a feeling as opposed to a verbal thing that you can explain. But I was like, what was that? What was that? I need to know more. And then after that, mad shit started happening to me because I'd been over there before. I was kind of in a leadership role, whereas I was kind of guiding and helping other people find their feet over there who hadn't been before, and we were renovating a centre for the street boys. And like, Jesus Christ, like, it's literally like door tracks and wherever. And because of the situation they're in, they will numb and they will escape and they'll sniff glue and they'll do all of the things to escape their pain as well. And you can understand that. So everything is under lock and key because they will sell anything if you can get their hands on it. So because we were painting and decorating the paintbrushes, all of the things we were using, I had the key off that and it was in a lockbox. And so this is what happens, right? I'd be in a room on my own and I'd put my brush down and I'd turn around to do something and I'd go back and my brush is gone.
It was that quick, but that good.
But you know what? Every time that happened, and it was about 3 times, on my way to the lockbox, because it was like you had to go around through courtyards and door tracks, I found an injured child my first little kid had a stick that was shoved right between his toes. Another little boy had squirted a poison berry into his eyeball. And, each time that the brush went missing with nobody in the room, I found a child that
needed help.
And I was like, and you don't just see a sign, you feel a sign. And at the time I didn't really know what that was, but it felt like a message. It felt important, and I didn't know what.
There's something going on here. There's something happening
here. And I knew it from a place of knowing where I didn't understand it. So when I got back, I thought, right, what is this Reiki stuff? I'm going to go full steam ahead with this. I want to know. Got into contact with the lady who did it on me. She put me onto the lovely Viv who was teaching it. And I remember being in the room and these are all head cases.
Isn't that what we think when we're taking out of our comfort zone?
I had no shoes on, and we were in a room, and I was thinking, just pretend I need to get something out of
and run.
The money that I'm at to pay and just run. Like, this is not for me. I don't know. This is weird. But like everything that's new, it's going to feel strange too, because it's different, and I'm so glad I didn't run. I'm so glad I stayed. Yeah, because it's changed my life. In so many
I'm really
ways.
curious, because it's like, when I hear stuff like this, I'm always like, I used to always go to is people looking for a quick fix.
Yeah.
That's what I used to think. I'm much more open now, and I'm real curious, and I know, different things work for different people, but I would have always had that attitude. So like what you were saying, if I walked into a room, I'd be like, it's all these fucking mad things doing, like, and they'd be talking about energies and stuff like that. So I think that's the way a lot of people feel about that stuff, Michelle.
Because it is weird when you've never heard about it. To me, it's a way of life now.
You try to explain it to us, like you explain to someone who doesn't believe in it. That's what I want you to do.
Reiki is a connection to a higher source. So you have 7 energy centers in your body, each of them from the root to the crown of your head. They hold emotions and blockages within the spiritual body. And depending on what you've gone through in your life, different chakras will hold different emotional blockages, and then it will manifest in the physical body, and each one will represent different organs and parts of your body, the left side, the right side. So it's hard to explain it from every aspect. So if you went to the root chakra is your foundation, your childhood, your trauma. Everybody has a blocked root chakra if you've ever done energy work on yourself. And so your root chakra, again, is going from survival into safety. When you're able to unlock those things, it's your self-care, your self-love, the ways you can look after yourself. And so an energy work is a connection to a higher source. You're just a channel. You're not doing anything. Like, I remember when I was first doing it as well, like, you're holding your hands over people's body and you're kind of looking to the left and right, going, I'm fucking Egypt. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
It must feel so strange.
It's so weird. But I knew again from that place that there was something happening, but I just didn't understand.
Was it a fear of trusting it?
That's a fear of trusting.
A fear of trusting.
You've never heard about it before, and you have to take yourself out of the equation, because you're not you're not doing anything. All healing is self-healing. You're just a channel and a conduit for the energy. So it's all energy, frequency, and vibration. So you're connecting to a higher source of energy, which is God. Call it what you want. There's only one creator, God, but we all have different beliefs in that God, depending on the religion that you're in. And so for me, like, you could call it God, the universe, God, source, energy. It doesn't matter to me.
It's nearly like AA when they tell you need a higher power. It can be anything. It can be a fucking tree in your back garden that's there 30 years.
100%.
Just have a higher power.
If you have that trust and faith in a higher power, then that's the connection that you need. Of course, I was coming from a spiritual faith background of God. So that's why I was like having this conflict of, what am I doing wrong? Am I cheating on God? Is this like, and then like, it was the devil, my dad was praying for me, like,
Your dad was, he's a minister.
Because, well, he didn't understand.
Did you think it was satanic work that you were doing?
And like, and I was doing a little bit of spell work as well, do you know what I mean? Because like, witches were just women with knowledge and wisdom of the earth and the plant-based medicines. And the term witch was just used as a derogatory term, but when in fact it was just women who were wise, and they had knowledge that men going back generations wanted to suppress, you know what I mean? Like, just a whole other fucking podcast. So there was a lot of it to that, you know what I mean? And then ancestrally for women, all of that stuff that was denied to us was carried in our DNA and passed down through lineage after lineage. And when you get to the point that we're at on this healing journey, it stops with us. Because we're making the change. We're saying enough is enough. We're breaking the chains of this. And when you do the work on yourself, you change 7 generations forward and 7 generations back. That's phenomenal.
Do you notice patterns in your own family system that have been happening right through? So say to your grandmother, to your ma, to you. Can you see that?
you can see it in ways that it's hard to pinpoint because all of us are so different.
But I mean, I can see
Yeah.
where history was constantly repeating itself.
Yeah.
And these were like, so say for instance, me, I was doing everything in my power to not end up like me ma and me nan.
Yeah.
And I ended up exactly like them.
Yeah.
So it was like, it didn't matter what I was doing, but there was something in it. It's like what you're saying that was being passed down, and that nearly like until I started to say, hold on a minute, you know, I have to make changes. I thought thinking about it was going to make the change. Like, because I'm aware that these things keep happening and I don't want them to happen. But it was only when I realised you got to make actual changes here to stop that stuff and stop passing it.
100%. And even for me, like Reiki 1, it's all about your own self journey. Like I never intended, like again, as I said earlier on, if you had told me that I was doing this 10 years ago, I'd laughed at you. I wouldn't have even had a clue what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And so Reiki 1 was only for my own personal growth and development because I was ready for change. I was done being miserable. I was sick of being sick and I was sick of being sad. And I wanted to be a better version of myself for my kids, but more so as well for myself because I could only show up for them if I showed up for myself.
Yeah,
so I was
you can't give what you don't have, Michelle.
I couldn't. And only through learning all tools and ways of showing up for myself, self-love, self-care, self-worth, self-esteem and self-awareness, could I teach that then going forward to my kids? Like now I have a little girl, she's 3, there was 13-year gap from the bias to her, and now I can be a mother to her to teach her all of the things that I never had for myself. And maybe that is the generational stuff.
But isn't that what healing is all about?
That's what it's
because rather than pass on all the negative stuff, let's say like for addiction, or whether it was extreme anxiety or shyness in your case. So instead of now passing it on to your 3-year-old, you have transformed with all these tools.
You want to see how emotionally intelligent this child is. Like she's 3 and she's
so she's never going to be like you, the things that you suffered with.
Yeah, because I'm going to make sure of it. And because again, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist as well, so I understand how the subconscious mind works, all the programs that are saved, that are running in the background, that we call in spiritual world your shadow side, but there are programs in your subconscious mind that are running the show. Everybody else can see it, but we can't.
Where do you sit with dreams with the subconscious?
Dreams in the subconscious mind is really... Dreams are very personal to the person. Like if you could be dreaming about 4 different people in your dream, but all of them people are representative of you.
Yeah, I remember reading that because I'd be big with that. Like it's sort of Jungian as well. So I would write down. I think I did it for 2 years non-stop because you were so vivid. It was unbelievable.
It's profound.
So the dream would seem like nothing, let's say. And when I'd write out the dream, I'd be like, oh my God.
And only you can interpret that. You could tell someone else your dream. It would mean nothing to them. They would never be able to define it for you.
It was unbelievable because I would like to go for a psychoanalysis. Like, and I know dream work is a big part of it. So I said I document a little bit just to have when I do. Do you?
Yeah, I do it too. Okay. I'm actually in a thing called Dream Discourses and I'm a 2nd-year student and it's called Eckenhart and it's like, it's hard to explain.
I'm losing track of the stuff that you're doing, Michelle. I'm trying to keep up here.
We'll keep that because that's just something I do for my own personal benefit.
It's like a little hobby of yours.
And it goes into like a spiritual development that I haven't even touched on yet. And I still find it hard to explain because I'm scratching the surface with it.
You don't fully understand it yourself.
And it's like I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. And the more I learn, the less I know. Just so much to understand.
Yeah, I always thought when we got older that we would understand more, but it's not really working like that for me, Michelle.
It doesn't work like that for anyone, and everybody who thinks overall is like in for a big awakening.
I thought I'd be much less confused in my 40s, and I'm like, am I fucking complicated things, or am I just learning more and I lack the understanding then?
But you know what, we have to understand, there's always deeper levels of understanding. You could hear the same thing 10 times, and somebody could say it for the 11th time in a way that you can understand from their personal experience because it resonates
how they put it as well. Yeah.
And so that's why healers, like, there's loads of amazing healers out there, but they're not going to be for everybody. I'm not going to be for everybody, but I will be for some people. And when they can resonate with you like that, and again, with your nervous system, you can co-regulate with somebody who's already regulated. And that in itself is part of the healing journey.
Oh, tell me that again, because that's landing with me. So if I was,
do you remember you said earlier on about Christine, you could like she's like a
tonic for me.
So her nervous system regulates your nervous system, so you feel safe in her presence.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So when we're surrounded by people that's extremely unregulated, there's less chance of me being able to regulate.
You won't be able to, because it's an energy thing. So
oh my God, light bulb moment I'm having here. It's so funny because there would be times where I feel really regulated. And I swear I'm taking deep breaths, and it's I feel it right now sitting here with you. I'm not tight in the chest. And so this is making sense to me. And then there's certain people in my life that I get a twitch in me left eye. That's like a complete sign straight away that there's something going on that I can't explain, I can't touch, but I'm feeling. And then all these other things, the tightness in my chest, I might get lower back pain. And it happens around certain people for me all the time.
Because you're wide open spiritually. Like the first thing I teach to my students in the class is how to put that spiritual armor on. Like you wouldn't walk outside your hall door with no clothes on. You shouldn't walk out without your spiritual armor on. Like it's spiritual hygiene basically. And it's all visualization. So you're closing your eyes and you're using your mind to visually put yourself inside a protective armor. So you're calling in the power from above, you're bringing it through your body, it leaves the soles of your feet, you bring it down to the earth, you find a crystal again, visualization, wrap it around the crystal in the earth, grounding yourself and anchoring yourself to Mother Earth. You bring it back up to your crown, back to your heart, and with each exhale after that you're blowing a bubble of energy around yourself. And that is your titanium shield of protection. No outside forces can penetrate it. Inside, you are safe, you are protected, and nobody's energy, no matter who they are, can touch you.
Okay, so if I was to do that work, because I have no idea about any of this is my first time. No, and I'm really open to everything. I would have dismissed a lot of this stuff before.
So would I have.
Yeah, I really would have. But this is making sense to me. So if I was to go to one of your classes and I was able to do that bit of work on myself, and I was around people who usually give me those, the twitching in the eye, the pain in the lower back, I would be able to protect myself.
And you do it every morning. And just say, for instance, you knew you were going to go into a conversation or a discussion or a person or an energy that you knew was going to make you feel that way. With one thought, you have to you just tell your energy field to reinforce itself. That's it. We're co-creators with the creator of all that is. Like we have a spark of God source energy in us. It doesn't make us God, it just makes us co-creators with God. And it's all about your thoughts. The thoughts you keep thinking become your beliefs, and your beliefs become your reality. Like your every cell in your body is listening to what you're saying, and if you keep on thinking it, you become it.
Shit.
I know.
Shit.
But when you know better, you can do better.
I know.
And it's about recognizing that, and you have to just do it with conscious intent.
I'm thinking here, right, because I feel really overloaded and overwhelmed to a degree, and this feels so light for me. This and I can see where I'm lacking in life. That's what I'm thinking right now. But for anybody, because I know a lot of people who struggle massively and is only coming out of addiction or still in addiction or has massive traumas, like because I know I've started a bit of a hiking group, and a lot of people on them. Please do, you'd be amazing on it. And I was looking around at all the people, and I thought if I took a snapshot of each of the people on this person's husband only died a year ago, this person's husband died 5, this person is only in recovery. I mean, the issues were really, really heavy and big issues. And I'm thinking, if you're dealing with all that stuff early on, I'm trying to think, right, so my husband was only dead a year. And if you came into me, I swear to God, Michelle, I wouldn't have been able to listen. I can now to you.
But
and I'm
you
really
have to
open.
Be ready.
Yeah.
You have to be ready, and it's not for everybody. And it's a faith-based belief. It's if you believe you can, you will, and if you believe you can't, you won't.
Well, a lot of people in early recovery will understand this because we've had to find their spiritual self. So what we're already starting it.
Yeah.
So this for me is like next level stuff that I need to do. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Because it's a spiritual call, and because you can't just do the mental, intellectual stuff. There has to be the spiritual aspect of it, because we're spirit and we're human. Like the soul, our soul is in our body. That's our consciousness, our identity, our personality. What's talking to us right now. Your spirit is different. Your spirit is the connection to the higher power, the God source energy, Jesus Christ. We wherever your faith base lies. Like I find myself a bit eclectic. Like I love a bit of Buddhism because I like it. It's a way of life. I love Catholicism. I class myself still as a Christian, even though in some groups you would be defined as New Age or spiritual. And I don't even like New Age because I feel like nothing really defines who I feel like I am, because I've actually never been closer to God, Jesus Christ, and the teachings than I ever have before. Like the last gospel of Mary Magdalene, the last gospels of Thomas, the teachings of Jesus Christ from an understanding that wasn't religious based, under control.
As
control
people.
of man.
As people.
Like the God that I love is
much
the God
more
of no
relatable.
judgment. That's what I mean. So why, why should I be judged for their faith and love I have for God and Jesus Christ now through my own new spiritual beliefs? Because it's only from learning spirituality and opening up those boundaries that I was able to allow God into its full extent, to allow the teachings of Jesus to come in to its full extent, you know. And again, like even like paganism, like, you know, I wouldn't say I'm a pagan, but I love the land and I love the ancient stuff, and I love Goddess Bridget and Saint Bridget are one and the same deity, you know. So like Christianity took a pagan deity and brought her into Christianity because it resonated with so many people. And I feel like I'm kind of in that transition bubble there. Like I don't really know what I am, but why should we define who we are?
It doesn't matter.
Why does it matter? It doesn't matter as long as I'm not doing any harm and I'm finding God, and that God that I'm finding is helping me now help other people.
Would you say, because since you have been on this journey and you've really got in touch with your spiritual self, which that's what it sounds like, that your life has been much brighter?
My life has changed in ways that I can't even comprehend still, because I look at the past version of myself and the suffering and the pain and the darkness, and I'm like, oh my God, like, but she got me to this point. All of the stuff that she endured. I almost feel like it's a separate entity of types, because I'm a different person. I had no self-awareness, no self-esteem, lack of self-worth. I was led on the whims of expectations of other people, and I never really was consciously aware and intentional with what I wanted for my own self. Like I didn't know who I was. I was lost.
Yeah, and look, I can completely, and even listening to you now, I'm sort of thinking like, you know, I'm really well and I'm doing, you know, I'm as well as I've been in a very long time, but listening to you, I still feel like I'm still quite lost.
Yeah.
You know, like
But you know what like we use the word lost, but we're never lost, we're never stuck, we're not broken, we don't need to be fixed. What we need to do is just accept ourselves as a whole, the good, the bad and the ugly, the versions of yourself that still show up sometimes. Same for me, just because I know where I know doesn't fucking make me a better person.
Well, as we said, we're still human and living in this world. So like I think what I'm saying is I was in the dark for years. I had no belief system, I had no spirituality. I was completely, and I can only describe it as I was in the dark. I don't feel like that today, Michelle. I feel like allowing God back into my life and communicating with him and being open to me spirituality again and having that connection has allowed the light back in.
100%.
But if you are going on open doors, that say the door is open and the light is coming in, but did I fully open? Like I'm listening to you, I don't think I'm there yet.
Because I think it's a journey like everything else, you know, and again, I don't think it does a point where you stop. I think it's always a progressively getting a better, like becoming better
like
version where you,
it's progressive.
And your environment is always going to dictate how you're feeling, and it doesn't change. Life doesn't get easier. We get stronger. We become less reactive, more responsive. We're not emotionally triggered by every single little thing. We're able to take that pause in the moment. As I said earlier on, I'd say, I can't have an adult conversation today. We'll take everything personal. Don't talk to me.
I'm not fit for human consumption today. Because you are talking about, you know, anger being such a healthy emotion, but when it turns to rage, it's not great.
That's it. And everything has its place. And anger is just a sign that you feel disrespected, and you should show up for yourself in that way. So you're setting a boundary in place, you know. And like I said, like, your emotional body is a navigation system. It's not meant to punish us. It was never meant to build cages in our mind of guilt, shame and judgment that we constantly torture ourselves over and over. Constantly thinking thoughts with due diligence that changes nothing, and all it's doing is because your mind doesn't understand or know the difference between past and present. Every thought you think is at the present moment, and if it's a thought from the past, Your
It's
body
in the
will
present,
react from
the present moment.
and every cell in your body will react from that space. So when you're able to kind of...
But isn't that a trauma response
It is
as well?
a trauma response.
It's a trauma response.
And so when you become the watcher, the witness and the observer of your thoughts, which takes practice and time, so you're able to think like, have you ever read The Power Now by Eckhart?
I have. It's pulled me over a few holes.
Yes. So he said in that at the beginning of it, I could not live with myself. And then he thought, well, if I can't live with myself, who am I? Who is this other entity within me?
Yeah.
And so when you're able to then go, okay, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions, I'm the conscious mind behind them, I'm the watcher, the witness and the observer.
So bring it into present moment all the time.
Yeah. And being in the present moment when you've never lived there is not an easy thing to do. And it's all about remembering. So every time you remember, you bring it back and you can use your breath.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Do you ever have...
It's easier because I find myself in a more now than I've ever been.
It does get
easier.
I
still fluctuate.
Yeah. I speak about it to my sponsor about having those moments, and I'm having more of them.
Yeah. And you will continue to have more and more and more for longer and longer periods of time.
It's a moment where I'm, say, walking on the beach, or I was hanging up the Christmas decorations with the kid, and in that moment, watching her pick up the decoration and hanging it on the branch and being there another year. This is a Christmas. I get to be here. I get to look at the wind, and it's like feeling everything.
Yeah.
The noise of the sea, the birds.
You have to use your five senses
skin,
to keep your presence.
Everything is awake. And I don't know whether we could be in that state all the time. It would be pretty. It would be pretty overwhelming.
In a world of so many distractions now.
Yeah, it's very hard, and it is a practice, I would say. And it's been in that state. I've had moments of it, and I will only call it moments.
Yeah, because the real weapons out there are weapons of mass distraction. That's the real weapons out there. And do you know what? Like, you look at what's going on in the world, and it's getting crazier and crazier. And we can only control how we show up in this world. We cannot change anybody unless you're in a... You can.
That's a good one. Well, I learned that the hard way. Trust me.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
For fuck's sake, Michelle.
It's about raising your conscious awareness
with
conscious intent by being present in the moment. Because Carl Jung said that if you don't make the unconscious conscious, you will drift through life and call it fate. And most people are drifting through life and calling it fate rather than going, okay, I'm going to set my day with intent. I'm going to
purpose.
Energy flows where your intention goes. And it also goes where you don't want it to go, especially if your mind is drifting to places that you don't want to go. Like
constantly
all of the time living in your mind, not understanding. But if you knew that your emotional body was a warning system, a messenger, and not a punishment. So if you feel shame because you're thinking a thought, well, then you go, okay, I'm feeling this. What is the thought that I'm thinking? Go to the thought. Notice that you're noticing it and say, that's not true for me. And it gives you the permission to release it and let it go. And it's a learned experience. Like, they're just words until you experience them. And knowledge is only experience through wisdom is only knowledge through experience, you know? Because we can all read books and we can all memorize things. But if you don't embody and integrate it into your life and practice it, then it's
reading out what you do with it. Then
you have to practice
bringing it home. It's bringing it in, and then and look at this is very simple, and this is from AA. It's doing the next right thing in the moment.
Yeah,
or presented with an issue or a decision.
Yeah,
what's the right thing to do here? Doing it with good intention.
Yeah,
and that for us, like in that program, would be filling up your spirit cup.
Yeah.
Doing the next
and that
right
makes
thing.
complete sense to me.
It's very basic and it's very simple, but it does. People in addiction who's extremely chaotic and only coming out of it, their head is still fast, they're still in the fast lane. So to break it down into that real simplicity, but I'm noticing it's very similar to what you're talking about. Like it's because it's a spiritual program as well.
And even psychology is spirituality. We're a different, like in academic verbal context. Because I studied psychology and counselling. When I finished school when I was 15, did a few jobs, got pregnant, had kids. But then I decided, okay, I want better for myself. And I started to study beauty therapy. So I was a beauty therapist, makeup artist, nail technician. And I was in it and I was loving it until I wasn't. Until I was fucking miserable. Wasn't showing up bad like we were doing. Me and Maria. Maria still has a little cabin out in my mum and dad's back garden doing makeup, lashes and all that. And I wasn't showing up for clients, or I'd forget about them because it was just in such a dark place. And then I had this shame, oh Jesus, and people be texting
me. The snowballs down.
Like, this is all.
The avoidance.
Yeah. And this was during this time that I was doing my trips to Africa, and I thought, you know what? I'm not happy doing this. This doesn't filmy, whatever that was shifting in me, it suited me until it didn't. So I went to college, I studied psychology and counselling, and then I went into level 6, and I lost my third baby during level 6, halfway through it. And it was just too much. It was just too much pain and emotional turmoil. And do you know what? Again, everything happens for a reason, because I drove to mad into college because my questions were too spiritual based, because I understood it. I understood psychology from a spiritual aspect.
So you kept going with that part
and
of
they were
it.
just like, we can't answer those questions. Like, you know, so whatever. Obviously, I didn't lose the baby for that reason. Of course, these things happen. But it pointed me in a different direction. I ended up doing little courses that suited what I was actually interested in, and following the pull and the breadcrumbs of the universe. I put my faith in it. I thought, okay, what's meant for me will show up for me, and I put my faith in that. And so I ended up doing clinical hypnotherapy, finishing Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3, doing Reiki Masters, and all different workshops in between and everything else. So everything, just I wanted to know it all.
What's the hypnotherapy like? Because I went for a class years ago out in City West somewhere. And it was, I think it was a weekend class. And anyway, I got a phone call. My eldest son at the time was 16, crashed a motorbike and ended up with. So that was the end of but I was really curious, you know, I was like that. I was trying to find something that I could stick to, that I loved. So like you, I was trying.
But clinical hypnosis has nothing to do with spirituality. Like clinical hypnosis is your regression back to your childhood, finding the first moment that a certain thing happened within the ages of 0 to 7. It's the program of the subconscious mind. Everything got stored there. So how we show up as adults would have been what we used as children to survive a certain environment or a situation that we found ourselves in. But now we're adults and it doesn't work anymore. In fact, it does the opposite. So if you're able to go back into the subconscious mind, find that first time that happened, and basically, like software on a computer, delete the file.
It's a bit like Friday and stuff, though, isn't it? Like the whole going back. I know there is
and it works for someone, it doesn't for somebody.
It's bringing you back.
It's bringing you back.
Right back to identify where this behaviour came from, or where that thinking to whatever it was, and to try and...
Yeah, but with hypnosis, you're bypassing the conscious mind, the critical factor, and you're getting into the subconscious mind, and you do it by, obviously, a technique. You slow the brain waves down. If you came to me and you wanted me to do something for you, you're open to the suggestion. That's all I need. But if I tried to get your bank details off you while you were under hypnosis, you'd be like, hang on a fucking minute. Your conscious mind is a gatekeeper. It's a two-way street. Like, I'm the guide, but all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, just like all healing is self-healing. So I just know the tools to guide you into that subconscious program. You're able to find a program, delete the program, and install new software within the system.
Okay.
So it's like with everything, repetitive and consistent new changes, build new neurological pathways. With hypnosis, it's a shortcut.
Okay.
You know,
get you there a bit quicker.
It gets you there quicker.
Yeah.
And so you can remove the no smoking, the weight loss. Like, it absolutely does work. But the people have to be ready for it. Some people go because somebody wants them to go. And it doesn't work like that. You have to want it.
Or they want that session to cure them.
Exactly.
To make them better.
So now I combine Reiki energy work with hypnosis for like a quantum energy experience. So it's like in the quantum field of all possibilities, anything can change and happen. It's like theta as well, and it's hard to explain them all because it's spiritually based, but you're connecting to a higher power, a source energy. It's like the observer effect in quantum physics. You witness something, and in the moment of you observing it, it can change like that. So your mind can change matter based upon the thoughts that you're thinking in an energy and a frequency. So it is hard to explain.
Yeah, I'm really trying to stay present with it.
I try not to go too.
And I'm looking at you, and I'm like, Michelle, I'm so fucking overwhelmed right now.
I know,
with
we
this.
could see that. It's like, I know, I have to tone it down a little bit.
And I can tell you're real passionate about it. And you know, when you believe in something and you know it works, and you want to get it out there, and like, my God, I can get that off you. I know
amazing.
It. But I'm like, okay, where am I with this now? I'm getting...
And so even, for instance, like, because it's not for everybody, but if you were drawn to it and there was a pull there, like even for me, I'm opening up a business in Balbriggan.
Tell us a little bit about that, because it would be, I'm sure there's many people, and I know loads of people who's really into this stuff or wants to know more about it. So what do you provide?
Well, the name of the business is The Feeling of Healing, because you have to feel it to heal it. You can't think your way over it. You have to go into the depths of it. Yeah. So for me, I had to obviously go through all of the experiences I went through to find all the modules that worked for me. And I'm like, why doesn't everybody know this? You want to shout from the rooftops, you know?
This works.
Yes, this works. And then going on, like, how can I have all this information now and not share it and do something? It's a calling. Honestly, it's a calling.
I 100% know how you feel and where you're at with it, because I'm like that with recovery for people.
Yeah.
Just please hang on. You've no idea how much our life will change. And I believe in it. Yeah. It's like a religion to me. It will be transformative. So I do understand.
And you're giving people hope in themselves. And you're able to, when you can change things in real time in that moment for them, and they wake up from a relaxation, like a trance-like state, and they feel lighter and they feel energized and they feel ready to take on the world. And they're like, oh my God, this is it for me. Now it's like everything. There's levels and there's layers and there's depths and there's stuff. And you overcome one thing only to find another thing, to find another. That's level. Just a journey. Yeah. We all have to experience that.
I spoke with another guy on the podcast, you know, like that say did his degree and he's going to do his master's and then he's already thinking about PhD. You know, it's that progression. Yeah. I can do that. I got the degree. I can do my master's. So it's the same in any field. Yeah. We want to progress.
Of course you do. And it's only natural, isn't it, to want to know more stuff in an area
if you're
that you're so
excited and you're curious and it works.
And it works. And it 100% works. Yeah. And so in the space that I'm working in, I'll be doing like clinical hypnotherapy combined with energy, or Reiki and energy work, Theta healing. And Theta healing, because the subconscious mind is held.
I told you I never heard of that, and I was like, so you're going to have to explain that for listeners, because I'm sure there's loads of people.
You use kinesiology, and kinesiology is muscle testing. The subconscious mind is held in the body. So you could come to me with what you think is your problem, and we will muscle test for that. And most of the time, what you think is wrong is never really the issue. So we go dig in, you ask a few questions, we muscle test for the answer. It's either yes or a no. That's how the body answers you. And so when we're able to find the core belief of what's going on in your life, you go to Creative All That Is, come down, change the belief system in real time.
And the physicality changes?
Immediately.
Oh, wow.
You can do a physical, chemical, emotional, and your DNA. Your DNA, there's loads of DNA within our system that lays dormant, and that's the stuff that you're able to connect with.
Because I know so many people who have these physical problems and symptoms, and they went everywhere. I mean, as in doctor appointments and this and that, and to no avail. So what you're saying makes sense to me for certain people who feel like, I think I said to you when I was 12, I ended up with a spinal problem. And it turned out, I can't pronounce names, so I'm not going to try because I'm on a fucking podcast and I know I'll feck it up. But it was a juvenile arthritis, and the doctors couldn't understand. I was like, did you fall? Did you do something? But there was so much stress going on at that period, and I was holding so much in, keeping secrets.
The physical body is the last stop. It's always spiritual, emotional, and mental first. And then when you're not listening, or you're not changing, or you're not actually realizing what the issue is, then your physical body will start to give you signs and scream and shout. And same with me.
So
I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
Okay.
So fibro was physical pain, couldn't walk, couldn't run, like it was always in pain. And you had brain fog. It was loads of different symptoms. Then I joined these groups and I'd read someone's symptoms and I'd wake up with them the next day.
Psychosomatic. I used to fucking do that. My GP said to me years ago, I'm not even going to discuss on this because it's way too embarrassing what I went down with. But it was like a real issue problem, and I had physical symptoms, and he was like to me, Lisa, why on God's name would you think? And I was like, I have the physical symptoms. And he says, that time there was no phones with internet like it was. He said, do not read any more medical articles about anything. You're giving yourself.
You do. And you see people with fibromyalgia and somebody tells you it's in your head, and you'd get offended because it's very real to you. The pain is real, the fog is real, the physical ailments are real. But it is psychosomatic. It is dis-ease of the mind creates this disease within the body. And if you're not listening and you're not changing and you're not adapting and overcoming all of the things in which you can be a better version of yourself, your body will start screaming.
So what happens, because I know Gabor Mate talks about, when he did all his research and the amount of, in one community, women that were all suffering from the same emotional problems. So say this town was riddled with...
As you were in the caregiving role.
And you were people pleasers, and you were never thinking of themselves. So constantly, they didn't know how to say no, they said yes. And all these people start displaying, it could have been, there was juvenile not juvenile, arthritis, autoimmune, MS, cancers, particular
Lupus.
type cancers, was all shown in these people. So he did research, and the correlation was very real as to whatever we're emotionally going through and storing ends up coming out
and
in
that's
the
what
physical
your
sense.
chakra system is. When you get an energy cleansing, you're clearing, cleansing and balancing the energy centers of the body, the chakras that is holding on to all that old stuff. So you're releasing and letting go what no longer serves you, and welcoming in, and you're making room to welcome in what's better for you, to guide you on your journey, almost like you're opening up a portal to another realm, a higher self, to say, okay, I'm ready, I'm intuitively guided now, and you allow it in. And again, it's hard to understand unless it's just learned experience, where it absolutely is a real thing. It works, and it's been scientifically proven now to work.
So when you go to your clinic, is it open yet actually?
No, we're only in the process. I only got the keys.
Because I know the video you put on TikTok, you are so excited, you only got the keys, and
because
I was like, oh my God.
Because I want to get the back to work enterprise allowance. Like, again, like it's been, last year was a
Takes
difficult
a while,
year. And my husband's business had to go bankrupt. It was just, it was difficult.
It was a challenging
It was
year.
a challenge, but again, everything happens for a reason. And so all of this studying I was doing and all of this stuff I was doing, and I was like, okay, it's time to actually bring this into the world. And how can I do this?
There. And I know you were saying I was terrified, and it is very scary.
I'm still a little bit scared, but I'm more excited than scared. But I mean, if you weren't afraid, would it even be worth it?
I think we're always going to be a little bit scared, Michelle.
Because anything outside the familiar now feels like a threat. Again, it's your nervous system trying to protect itself.
100%.
But I don't know what that is. Don't do it.
Like I have had a few meltdowns, as in, what's going on with me? What's wrong? And it was that fear, and it was stepping into the unknown for me, and the fear of being exposed, and people having an opinion. But if I never did it, I was going to feel dysregulated.
But you're going to feel that on the edge of change. And when you're transitioning into a better version, a leveling up version of yourself, that transition feels extremely uncomfortable.
Very
Most people
uncomfortable.
don't go any further than that because they can't get past
that's
that.
Where the magic is.
That's where the magic is.
That's where the magic is.
You push past that resistance, and that's where everything goes.
I have learned that in the past few years. I have had times where I was to stand up and speak, and remember when I was collecting this cert, and when I tell you, Michelle, people would think I'm confident and, I don't mind talking and all. When I tell you what happens to me inside before I stand up, and once I start speaking, it starts to dissipate. But it's like there's a firework display happening inside me.
But that's primitive. That's from really going back, because if you were judged by your tribe and you were what's the word? You were
excluded.
And you were put aside. So then you didn't survive. It was a survival mechanism. So you were standing up there. The fear of judgment is based upon the primitive ways in which you didn't want to be thrown out of your tribe. You wanted to show up in a certain way. And it's always,
so much sense.
So again, it's ancestral. Again, it's that primitive reptilian inside of your brain.
Well, it's truly well alive in there, I have to tell you.
It's like everything with repetition and doing it over and over again. You build a new neurological pathway, and then it becomes part of who you are.
And that's exactly what has happened. So I actually feel like I'm going to pass out. I was like, I'm going to fucking collapse. I'm going to walk up here, and I'm going to, because there was, like, I mean, it was like...
It's like a lion is chasing you.
Oh, that's exactly the adrenaline. I was feeling it in the tips of my fingers, inside my brain. I mean, it was everywhere.
And you still did it.
And I did it anyway. And then when I came down off it, I felt after the charge. And then when I had to do it again, I was like, you did this before. You're going to have. So I started accepting that I would feel like that. And I was going to do it anyway. But then I wasn't feeling as bad every time after.
Because
so it's like that
change. It's true.
100%.
And it's only through the experience and knowing that you can get over it. But if you're always going to live in fear and never actually even make an attempt to try, then you will never actually.
But you're fucking depressed, because then you're stuck. Then it's like, I have all this stuff that I want to do and I want to give and I want to say, but I can't get past that rush of adrenaline.
And an awful lot of people are stuck in, like we all know, fight and flight. A lot of people are stuck in freeze and fawn as well. And that freeze looks like procrastination, it looks like depression, it looks like all the ways. Like you want better for yourself, but you just can't, because your nervous system is stuck in survival.
It's a horrible place to be.
It's a horrible place to be.
Horrible place
people look
to
at you like, because it's not like you don't want to change. The mind is willing, but the body is weak. And you just can't. Well, you can get past it because you're never stuck, but it does require an awful lot of conscious intent to push yourself through those things, because you're never going to want to do the thing. You have to
No.
make yourself do the
You
thing.
never, all the stuff that I love and I really want to do, before I go out and do it, I'm talking myself
Yeah.
over. You said
Yeah,
you did it
I
with
didn't even
this.
want to come here today. I was like, I hope she rings me and cancels this.
I always feel like that.
And even at 5
honestly.
o'clock, we hadn't. I was busy with the baby; she wasn't well, and you were busy with your day. I was like, I'll text her, and if she just says it's okay,
I was in a therapy
I was looking for it
session.
now. I was looking for it now.
When I came out and I saw it, I said, "That's Michelle," and I said, "Fuck, she's probably cancelling," because it does happen. People get scared.
No, there was no way I was cancelling because I'm in that mindset now.
Well, now I know
what,
that.
I'm
Now
going
I
to
know
do it.
that.
And when you said to me, "Just still want to do it," every part of me was like, "No, don't do it." And I was like, "Yes, Lisa, I do."
But you did that anyway.
And I did it anyway, and I'll continue to do it because now again, I am looking for a platform to show people what I can do and who I am, because I want to help people, and I want to help them from a place of knowing, like, what did I need to know when I didn't know I needed to know it.
So, right, break it down for us, right? Because I know, right, when you're into something and the language that we can use explaining it can go over a lot of people's heads. So when you open up, explain to us what you're going to offer, and explain to us, for people who are open and curious but don't really know much about it, who would knock at your door, or what will you offer to someone who has no experience of any of this?
For somebody, like, again, anxiety, depression, feeling like you're stuck in a place and you just don't know what the next step is.
Okay.
You know, you're stuck in your mind and you don't understand how to even overcome what it is that you're feeling, because you're using your emotions as an enemy. And really, knowledge is power. So if I'm able to just instill in somebody the knowledge, because when you come into me, we're going to do a little consultation. Most likely I'll have one before you even come. So I already know why you're coming to me. We'll have a discussion in the beginning. I'll use kinesiology. I'll do some muscle testings. We'll find some core beliefs that we want to remove. And as I said before, it's like with Theta, you're removing on the history level, which is all your past lives, the genetic level, which is all the ancestral stuff, soul level, which is the deep and depth of who you are, and the core level, which is this lifetime, all of your stuff from your childhood and wherever it is that's holding you back, keeping you small.
So it's a real holistic
It's
form of
very
therapy.
holistic, very holistic, and it is a belief-based system, and you have to be into it to benefit from it. Because why else would you come? Like, you're not going to come to me if you've no interest in what I do. And anybody who has interest in what I do, like, I mean, I've loads of testimonials from women who have worked with me who have amazing results from just allowing, because I'm not doing anything. They're doing it themselves. I'm just opening up an avenue for them to understand it.
But no one will realise that, Michelle.
Yeah.
Because everybody that wants healing and wants to get well, the majority of people is looking for someone to save them, and so they will realise that when they're in they're in there.
But when they're in that space and they realise that this works, and it works in real time, and it absolutely can change everything for them, and then it gives them again that little level of being able to go out into the world and push past the resistance, because now that they know, that they understand it from a different level of understanding,
they have a bit of experience and knowledge on it, and that's what we all need, is that exposure to stuff. Because without that, it's like me saying to someone, if you go on a hike, it really makes you feel amazing, or if you start doing it, walk 3 times a week. Until they start doing that, they don't realise what it's going to do. They don't have the feel-good feelings that you get from doing that.
And then when you're helping somebody then regulate their nervous system, understand emotional intelligence and regulations. So now they not only have tools and they have knowledge, they've had a physical experience as well, and a spiritual experience, because it's chemical, physical, emotional and mental. So I work with all of those things. Again, every person is unique. How it shows up for them is different, depending on their parenting, their education, their culture and their background. So we could both experience the exact same thing, and we would both have different versions of a story to it and a different emotional reaction to it, because their life is different.
Well, do you ever hear twins that experience the very same experiences, and one says that didn't happen, the other says it did, and one of them ends up really fucked up in life, and the other one is really, and they've both been in the one house, and look, I know parents react different to kids' personalities, but
no, it's the truth.
It's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, and because we all come here with our own soul. We are souls having a spiritual, or we're spirits having a souls and spirits having a human experience, and we came here to experience it all. Your mind is designed for survival, and so to expect perpetual happiness all the time, it's unattainable. You can't do it. It's like wanting perfection. That's not real either. There's no such thing. And like
doesn't
normal,
exist.
where even is fucking
it doesn't
normal.
exist.
Normal is what's normal to you, what's normal to me, what we feel comfortable with in our everyday life. And two people are never going to find the same normal. It's always going to be different.
Yeah.
You know. So again, like, I want to just teach people how to not allow their mind take over their lives, to understand their emotions, our navigation system, and then teach them how to recognize the message and what it's trying to give.
I like that, Michelle, because I think for so long we get very used to ignoring signs of our own body, like when your body's screaming at you, you know, just like what we spoke about, or that intuition or that gut feeling. And I don't know where that gets switched off along the line. Childhood, somewhere along
it's
the
the
line.
nervous system in survival mode. It's always the root of everything.
And when you start listening to that, because and it started opening me up to the work that you did. It really did, because I've never heard, honestly. So it really has. Like I'm curious now, really.
And that's all you need.
And I will always try something and have my own experience before I have a view or a say on it. You know,
and that's the right way to do it.
I honestly, I do. I don't knock anything in life, but I'm thinking about the past 4 years. I've started to listen to the feelings I've been getting when I get the tight chest, when I get the twitch, if my stomach starts at me, if I get that pain in my back. And it's not that I could never feel it before, I was just ignoring it. And now
noticing it.
I'm making better decisions around people, around environments for myself, because I know where I feel well. I know, you know,
that's you.
It's massive for me.
Which it's massive for anybody who's able to get themselves into that state.
Constantly putting myself into situations with people and places and things where I was dysregulated. I wasn't feeling great. I couldn't relax. My sleep was affected, and always wanting to run, walk, run, move, because I couldn't.
You couldn't sit with yourself.
And as soon as I started listening to, you know, what you're talking about, I know I'm not saying it the way you were, because I don't have the knowledge.
The same thing. You're saying the same thing.
But so I do agree and believe in. I've no understanding yet, but I am going to.
I'll point in a few directions that you love. Even the biology of belief by because there's a Bruce Lipton, I think, about like it's epigenetics, your cells and your DNA change based upon your mind.
I actually have a book there. It didn't start with you, Mark Wolfram. Have you read that one?
Didn't start with you. I don't think I have.
So it's about what you were taught about, the generational stuff from being passed on. So it's about before you're even born, or before your mother was born, you are going to have certain things wrong with you that your grandmother already hasn't.
Even with Theta Healing, I can bring you back to the womb of being inside the womb of your mother, and you're able to then go into how your mum was feeling in that moment and undo different things within that sentence. Like, it's phenomenal.
I don't know whether I want I don't know whether I want that. No, I think she was actually grand. She was in a really happy relationship with me dad. And things didn't go belly up till I was out of the room. So I might be all right. It's funny. You might be able to. I love in tents, and I love going camping by myself, and I love being in a small tent by myself. And I have these memories of being in a buggy with a hood and apron and loving it. And I always think to myself, is that something got to do with the womb? Because it's that cocoon of a tent.
And you felt safe.
And but do you know what I love about it? I'm safe. I'm in something, but I can hear everything outside, like the birds and the trees, and I love it. There's something like I can't. People is like, you go on your fucking own, you're not terrified.
Again, for whatever that brings to you, it's soothing your nervous system. You feel safe, and the nervous system wants to feel safe.
But what does it remind you of?
The womb.
Honestly, and I always tell this because people think it's quite nutty, but I can't explain what it does.
Nothing sounds nutty to me.
No, I don't fucking think it would.
My kids look at me and they're like, you just get weird at me. And I say, thanks very much for noticing.
I love it though. It makes a very interesting person. It really does. You know, you get so fed up with small talk and mundane stuff that
I can't do it.
I find it
do the small. Like if I go deeper, I go home.
I love it. I love when I can have these conversations with people, and I love when I'm opened up and exposed to something new. I get very set in my ways, and I get very regimental. Like my daughter would say, the plan, like, it's all right. You know,
Lisa, I'm like that. Like, and I said to my husband the other day, like he changes things on a whim, and that really affects me when things are changed like that. And he said to her, "You've got fucking autism."
She says it to me.
Like, I don't know. I probably do, because I did tick a lot of boxes. And
she fucking says it to me. So I go to bed, I do my prayers, I go back out to go to loo again. This is every night. And then I go to the freezer and I break a bit of Corley Wally, because that's my little treat. And I do it. And she's like, when she has anyone staying with her in the room, she's like, she's gone to the toilet. When you hear the fridge door open, when you hear the wrap out of the thing, she knows every little thing.
Yeah.
And she says to Luca, it's like a touch of autism that she has. I don't even want to fucking call you Wooly sometimes, but because it's part of my routine.
Your brain is a predictive machine and it likes
I
it.
swear to God, Michelle. Honestly, I'm going to put myself out here and put you out here now. And I've had to be in my head thinking, will I say it to her or not? Because you said you feel energies.
Yeah.
And you can look in and you can see. And I want you to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Because I'll and I won't lie to you. I'll be very honest.
Or I'd have to put myself into a translated state. That's
okay.
Because it's
but
not
do you get initial reaction?
Of course you do.
Okay.
Of course you do. But when it comes to working like that, it's a ritual that you have to go through a little bit to bring yourself up to that, and then it protects
to get yourself there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what was the energy level like? No, I'm not looking for anything positive or negative. Or, I don't mind either.
You have amazing energy. When I walked into the house has amazing energy, but the house wouldn't have amazing energy if you didn't have amazing energy.
Spoke to you about the house.
Yes.
So this house is, me and the house
like
has
as soon as I walked in, I went, this has amazing energy. When you are an energy worker, you're very susceptible to the energies all of the time. So I could walk into an environment and instantly every hair on my body would stand up and I'd be like, I need to get fucking out of here as soon as possible. You could even get it off objects and stuff that belong to other people. Like it just doesn't feel right. Like it's not that thing you can articulate. It's a feeling.
It's funny because I said to you, when I came into this house, this was like a derelict house. It was really old. There was no heating. There was no water tank. And my eldest son, Clay, was scratching his head as if to say, what are you fucking doing? And I didn't get that. I got a lovely feeling
of
it.
Amazing.
And it's like, I'd be walking on for the rest of my life, Michelle. But
it's gorgeous.
I saw myself as an old woman in it.
Yeah.
And that was, and because walkers come down and say to me, what the fuck, what made you buy this? Like it's, and it's dark now, so you can't see the outside of it or anything tonight. But I was like, I saw myself as an old woman, and they look at me like I'm fucking.
But the fact that you followed that as opposed to what aesthetics, and to me, this is aesthetically beautiful, by the way. But obviously, when you walked in at first, it wasn't G, but you've done a lot of work.
Well, it's very hickledy-pickledy.
Oh, it's like just this to me is just like a perfect. I love it. Everything about it is just amazing. I love it.
But it was like, as I said, to the coldness in it and all. I woke up one morning and the walls were all chipped and falling off. You couldn't paint them, and I was transported back to the flats. The cold of my feet, the way the flats were fucking freezing. There was no heating in them, and I looked at the walls, and it was reminding me of the walls of the flats in the bedroom. And I thought, I'm after taking myself right back to a place where I was when I was a kid. But my goal was to.
But you were going there anyway with your healing joy.
Yeah. So it's like every time I do a little something to this house, I know the house is grateful. So the house is nurturing me as much as I'm nurturing.
And that doesn't sound batshit crazy to me, because I believe that, because I talk to every cell in my body in the morning time like it was all great.
My daughter was like, don't tell anyone that. That sounds fucking crazy. You're talking to the house. So I have to deal with it. So the two of us as packers, Michelle. The two of us
have more conversations.
Yeah, look, I'm just watching the time, so we're grand. We still have about an hour and 15. It flies.
Jesus,
absolutely flies. So I suppose this was a real different one. It really was, and it was great because sometimes it's not a boredom, or it's not that it's getting stale, because everybody's story, but I sometimes feel like I don't want people getting bored with my stuff, and all the time the same type of stuff.
And I even felt like, oh Jesus, what do I have to fucking say to fill a podcast or anything? I really, obviously the purpose of me reaching out to you as well was because I want to share what I know with people, and I want to help people. And to do that, you need to put yourself out there. And that's very uncomfortable for me. So for me, doing this is extremely uncomfortable, but I know I have to do it, and I'm willing to do it to get to where it obviously leads to go. Yeah. So like, I'm willing to do the things that's required of me to level up and put myself out there. But yeah, without a doubt.
It's really brave, and I know it is, and I know it takes an enormous amount of courage. And I know you're going against every grain of that voice, or your body as well, telling you don't do it, and having all those sort of reactions to sort of stepping into that fear. I know myself that it takes massive courage. But where are you at now, like family life? And I know
family life is great now. I'm with my husband 25 years. We're married 11.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But for the first 15, that was very difficult because we both had our traumas coming into a relationship and we didn't know how to communicate. There was love there. That's always what kept us going. But there was an awful lot of other stuff as well. And I used to blame him and he used to blame me, when in fact it was both of us. We were both reacting to each other and never really understanding the journey we were on, And when I was going on my self-healing journey, it kind of created we kind of separate for a little while, if I'm being honest.
One is on Venus and one is on Mars. I say that, and that's a difficult place to be at.
It's only when you go to those places of we didn't want to not be with each other, but it was getting so dark in the moment that we didn't know how to be with each other. You know what I mean?
Totally understand.
So I had to separate to come back together, and the growth and the stuff that I was doing was influential in the stuff that he was seeing in me. We were both guiding each other. And then when you're able to look at it again from a different perspective, I could see the fault in my own self that I was blaming on him. I had to take accountability. But where I was playing the part in the relationship and stuff like that, And so the two of us were in a space right now where we just communicate so well.
Obviously, like all relationships,
they fucking take work. And it's ups and downs, but the love is there, the trust is there, all of the stuff, the foundations, the friendship, we laugh together, And, for a while it wasn't like that. And now we're in a place, and I say I'm in my 40s now, I've never been happier. I have 3 boys, 23, 19 and 16, and a little girl.
Yeah, the little girl, I know.
Aurora, and she just lights up our life. She just brings everybody back into the same room again.
How old is she now, Michelle?
She's 3.
She's 3.
Yeah, she's 3. She's a little elf and she's grand. She's very emotionally intelligent. She told me the other day, I am very emotional today.
I can see why she would be.
I've been living on planet Earth for a very long time. I was like, where else did you live? She says, planet Mercury.
And we've all been on fucking planet Mercury at some stage.
So
for sure.
And she brings so much joy, and it's like you're almost reparenting yourself through parenting her, because you know exactly what not that I didn't have it, but I didn't have it in myself, the self-love, the self-worth, the self-esteem. And I want her,
Bella, you do,
yeah. And so I want her to recognise a red flag a fucking mile away as she's grown up, because she has that self-esteem in herself and the trust in herself too. When she finds herself in situations, which she will, because life just deals you these hands every so often, and so she's able to then be confident and competent in her own self and who she is.
Who she is.
Imagine,
Imagine, because like we both spoke about getting into your 40s and trying to figure out like the big question, who am I really? Yeah. I've learned to put on so many masks, go to Burma. I've tried, I've done this course, I've done that course, searching and searching and searching. And I woke up and realised it was to look in.
Yeah, the answer is
I was looking everywhere, Michelle.
Yeah.
I was looking to, I went to Buddhism classes as well. I practiced that for a little bit, going home and drinking a bottle of wine after the Buddhist class. Like that, show you how much I was practicing.
I went to Reiki workshops at the moment, drank wine too.
Yeah, well, your fucking drinking probably wasn't at the same level as mine, Michelle. Probably wasn't. But, but it was that searching, and I've heard numerous people talking about it, and all along it was sticking that mirror up and reflecting it back in and taking accountability and responsibility.
Absolutely.
And
it's the only way.
I always knew what I had to change, but I just couldn't find a way to do it.
Yeah.
And like that now with everything, and to be open. Like if you just talk to me about all this stuff a few years ago, I'm like, Michelle, way out there.
And I have to know my audience, because I have to kind of hold myself back a little bit.
Because I get so excited, and I understand. It shows your passion for it though, and your belief in that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to go to your clinic, I want you to be that passionate, and I want you to believe in it that much.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what's the point?
Exactly.
Why would you do any of this work?
Exactly.
I absolutely 100% believe in talk therapy. I really do. It helps. That's why I'm training in it, because if I didn't believe in it, but I do believe for people it needs to be more.
I think it's a combination.
It's a combination of a lot of different things, and it's
and there's no one size fits all.
Absolutely not. And it doesn't matter what therapist you are, whether it's what healer you are. We're all trying to do it for the greater cause of getting people to discover themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've had experiences that took us to places, and we want to help other people not go there or come out of it.
Why wouldn't you want to give this? Exactly. And I know words are not enough. Yeah. Like I know the podcast will open up conversations to people and give people a platform, and storytelling is amazing. Did you ever read the book, actually, Women Who Run with Wolves?
Yes.
I was every time you're talking to me, I keep thinking of Clarissa Pinocchio.
Yeah. I can't pronounce it.
It's a very difficult word. And I remember reading that years ago when I wasn't in a great place. And I thought when I got a little bit better and my head fell, I'm going to read that again because I know I'm going to take something completely different. And I did. And I got it on audio. And it's amazing. And it reminds me of you and the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
She's one of these wise women. And she does it through storytelling.
Yeah.
Because how our ancestors learned and
was by telling each other stories.
It was storytelling and the fucking power in it, Michelle, of story and sharing experiences and having these stories, witches, remedies, spirituality, medicine.
And it's always been a way of life, even like the mental world, like I think was the book of Hermetics was written 3,000 years before Jesus. And this is now what's all being spoken about in this present life. You know, and again, it's all called New Age, but it's ancient and in and of itself. And even people who are teaching this, not like none of this stuff I'm teaching is mine. I don't own any of this work. Like this is only me through my personal experience and understanding. I'm delivering it.
Yeah.
But it's not my work. I can't be keeping anything. I will share everything or anybody. If you want to hear it, I can tell you.
Very same for me, Michelle. I'm just sharing an experience of what didn't work and what works for me.
And sometimes knowing what doesn't work is half the fucking problem solving.
Well, that really helps, to be honest. What not to do. My sister always says to me, you are great because you fucking taught me what not to do in life. Because I'd look at you and say, she's crackers. She's nuts. I'm never doing that. So in turn.
So you did our service.
I did our service. I did a few people a service. I remember we went skiing there a couple of years ago when we were and that, and I was sober. It was my first sober trip, and everyone was at me not to drink the night before, and we had a few drinks. Then the next day on the slope, she had a beer to, as you would, but it was like the one beer nearly got her drunk again, and it was just. My daughter was asleep on a bench. My eldest son, Cumry's girlfriend, you were dying looking. And it was just madness. But because I was always part of it, I never saw it.
No.
And I was sitting there with my brother, who was always really quiet, likes a few drinks, but wasn't crazy and took drugs and did all that. And I looked at him and I says to him, is this how it always was? And I was talking about, because I would have been the instigator of all that, Michelle. Honestly, I'd had people at 9 o'clock drinking and, you know, it didn't matter where we were. And he said, why do you think I am the way I am? But it really hit me. And I looked at him because I wasn't messing and I was looking at, you know, everything. And he says, I says, is this how it always was? And he says to me, always. And because I took a parenting role at times and I would have thought that I says to him, I'm so fucking sorry. Because I wasn't able for it anymore. And then I was seeing what it was like for someone on the outside looking in, and him a kids, and in turn made him really quiet and probably reserved and maybe closed off because of that chaos. So it's real the effects we have on people doing the wrong things in life.
But we can't see it in the moment. And that's why we have to forgive ourselves for what we didn't know when we didn't know it. And when you know better, do better. It's the only way.
And you don't care because it was all about me doing the things I wanted and suiting myself and feeling free.
But that was your number one priority at the time and you couldn't see beyond that.
It really
And we've all been there, but most of us. Especially when you have your childhood traumas. Like you just want to escape these feelings. But again, it's never an intentional conscious decision.
Never.
It's just something that's on a whim and and then it becomes the habit and then it just becomes something you seek and you're trying to fill a need and a hole inside of you that's never fills.
Never. It doesn't matter what you do, but it was just acknowledging it for him. And I've never spoke to him again after it. You know, and I don't think he listens to any podcasts. He's like, this one. He's really like, I don't want to fucking know.
I don't want to know.
But it was just, you know, it was one of them moments with people, you know, that you have and you see something from a different lens. But I think doing this type of work, you start seeing things from a very
because
different
when you haven't done the inner work, your perception is like looking through a dirty lens. You're taking everything personal.
That's a lovely analogy.
You know, like and until you're able to self-reflect and actually call yourself out on your own bullshit and acknowledge that you are part of the problem and you're sorry and I forgive myself and I forgive everyone. But you know, for again, and none of it happens like consecutively, like it's all progressive, it's all it's a process. And to go through one part to lead you onto another part, onto another part, you'll find yourself on your hands and knees crying. And I always found that emotional breakdowns are spiritual breakthroughs. Once you dust yourself off, have a rest and go forward in whatever area you're going in, you'll feel lighter 10 times.
You
lighter.
always do, don't you? I've had but there was years I couldn't cry.
No.
And then I think when you have that, when you unleash
When the dam breaks.
oh my God.
Yeah, the dam break.
You know,
not the tears, the desperation. Why am I even doing this? Why did I start this work? I feel worse before I feel better. But that's only a short period of time, and then you come out the other side.
But it's like, you know, this is what has to happen. As much as it's uncomfortable and it's not nice. Like, I know for me. Yeah, well, it's like everything we spoke about.
They call it your comfort zone. It's the most fucking uncomfortable place you'll ever live.
And healing is beautiful. Would you fuck off? That's what I feel like.
Eventually, you've moments within the moments.
No, and you do, but it's like you have to go through all those really hard, deep, dark.
Like it's not called the work for nothing.
No,
it is work, and you have to do it with an open mind and an open heart.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, hang on, stay in. It's like
keep going, and you see those little memes everywhere. Keep going, you're nearly there. You've got this. Keep going, and it's the truth because you have to just keep going, one foot in front of the other. And when you take the step, the path appears. You don't have to know. In fact, it's probably better that you don't know exactly where you're going or what you're doing. Then anything can open up for you, and then you're in the world of all possibilities where anything can happen.
To be limitless feels really good.
Limitless is exactly where I need.
And I only spoke about it at a meeting. I did a chair in a meeting, and I didn't realize how limited I was in life.
Yeah.
But it was me that was limiting myself.
Yeah.
And I particularly through drinking and taking drugs, the way I was. And I was like, to wake up and feel like your day is limitless.
Yeah.
Now, to a degree, I'm not talking about,
you
know, I'm going to go into travel agency and book a holiday for, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything is possible.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited.
Yes,
and I'm
because that's
scared and I fear, but that's all right.
But you know what? Life is hard. Pick your heart, because growing and changing is hard, but staying the same is harder.
That's more difficult.
It's more difficult because nothing changes if nothing changes, and then you're going to continually get up in the morning, do the same thing, think the same thoughts, feel the same feelings, and live the same life over and over. And then if you actively make changes, and the best way to do it is the tiny little changes each and every day, because they lead gradually to the big ones. It's the small win. And if you win your morning, you win your day. So if you have a little ritual that you do in the morning, especially if you don't do it now, start one and do it for 1 minute. 1 minute mindful meditation, 1 minute breath work, set a timer, don't do any more than that, and consecutively build on the habits. You ever read Atomic Habits?
I haven't actually. I think I have it out there, but I do have it actually out there.
It's brilliant, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's wanted to make changes in their life but find it hard to be consistent, because that was my mountain to climb. The consistency
is key. I say it to everyone. It is,
and because willpower is great for about 2 weeks, but then your programs will kick back in, and the old habits and the old ways of thinking and the old ways of it, and before you know it, you're back.
You're back at
exactly.
It. I've seen it with people, you know. I've seen it with myself. It starts off first month grand, second month, you see this habit slowly starting to reappear again, and before you know, we're straight back to where we started.
We find peace in chaos. So until we find that you can actually find it's not boredom, it is peace, and that it's not actually something to be running from or trying to hide to get comfortable with that's the little bit of an effort that you have to put through in order to get to that space. And it isn't easy, because even myself, I can sit on my own and be on my own, but I'll be reading a book or I'll be listening to a book.
It's always some form of escapism, isn't it? Like,
so I have to actively put everything away, sit with that quiet meditation, sit in that silence. That's only when the messages and the intuitive guide can come in, and you can have these contemplative thoughts in your head. Like, it doesn't have to be drifting on a whim. The arguments do, I should have done this, it's not. It's listening to yourself, having conversations with your higher self. You get intuitive guidance, you're creative,
isn't it?
It is, but like everything, it takes time and practice and repetition.
It's the one thing that I run away from.
Yeah, but most people do. And look at the world that we're in. It's distractions are everywhere. But like this, what I'm saying, if you give yourself 1 minute every day with just mindful meditation is just sitting in silence, using your breath as your anchor. So if your mind drifts, give your breath a tool or a job to do. Bring it back, breathing in, think in, breathing out, think out. So when your mind drifts, bring it back. When your mind drifts, bring it back. Telling your mind to stop thinking is like telling your heart to stop beating.
I know.
So and then thinking negatively becomes a bad habit. And like all habits, it has to be broken, and you have to interrupt it, and you have to do it consciously with intent by recognizing that you're doing it in the first place, noticing that you notice it, and then shifting the narrative. So let your emotions guide you, become the watcher, the witness, and the observer. Check yourself when you're thinking a thought because you're feeling a certain way and go, no, that's not true. And how you know it's not a thought that's true to you is how you're making you feel. So if you feel negative about a thought you're thinking, that's not true for you. That's not your truth. And so if it's a feel good feeling and you're thinking the thought, then that's it. Now, obviously, there's levels in between that you have to use discernment, because we could be afraid of something that's good for us only because it's unfamiliar. So we have to recognize that in itself as well. So it is practice. And when you get more, when you trust yourself more, when you're more open to intuitive guidance, then you've already said you're already there. You're feeling the feelings in your body. You're recognizing in certain environments. You're already halfway there. Just sit 1 minute every day. I challenge you to do it. First thing, don't rub them on, don't look at your phone. If that's what you do, change it.
I actually don't. That's one thing I don't do.
Wonderful, because too many of us do that. So I give myself at least 15 to 20 minutes before I even look at that. I'll sit up in the bed. I'll do the breath of fire, breath work, just fucking a few little reps of that. And then I'll sit and I'll quiet my mind, and I'll go downstairs and I'll do a few movements. And again, this is only new for me again. I'm probably only starting to do it again since January, because last year loads of shit happened that took me to my knees again, and I had to relearn all the stuff that I knew, but I had to go back there. And I believe that I was brought to that place in order for me to understand and recognize that the people that I'm seeking to help, I had to remember what that felt like again, so that I can bring it back into the classroom.
Yeah, I do understand that. Yeah, I do.
So it's like you do cycles, like you see these spirals, but it goes up like this. So you circle, you learn the lesson, you grow. You learn the lesson, you grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'll keep on spinning until you recognize and you take accountability and you own it, and then you move on again. You know? So it's a journey.
And now listen,
Don't we?
I'm having so many thoughts now in my head. I'm starting to drift now. I'm just thinking of the quiet time, like the quiet space, making that. And it's funny, since I haven't been able to run. I haven't run in a few weeks because my hip went on me just before the Christmas. But it made me slow down.
Yeah.
Because I'd always be out walking. I'm always doing, every morning I was going on a run. Then I'd go on a walk with the dog when I come back. Then I do a little lightweight lifting session up in the room. Yeah. And I knew the movement was important for me, but it gets to a point for me where it's excessive and it's too much, and I'm never sitting. But since just before Christmas, for whatever reason, the hip was at the start of it. And I thought, I'm going to think of hibernation. I'm going to think of what we do at winter, and we stock up and we sit in and we don't move as much, and we eat some foods that we probably wouldn't, and we rest. And I said, I'm going to have a really easy January. I'm going to have a slow January. And I haven't been running, and I haven't been doing much walking or anything. And I probably haven't felt this calm or rested in an awful long time.
Because sometimes you're running, can be running from yourself as well.
There's no fucking doubt it. And I did recognise that. It was sort of too much. It was excessive. But it was nice to take that bit of space, and even, sitting and having conversations without rushing, because I can be constantly doing. And even listening to you now, it's making me think more about more rest and, stuff on me body rather than movement constantly. That slow pace that I think I need to work on, Michelle. But there's no better woman that'll help me. That'll guide me. No better. We were at 1:35, Michelle, and this is great. And I say all the time, you could sit with people for hours and talk. So what else did you not bring in that you want to bring in, whether it's about your present or about your past or anything else?
Do you know what? I can't even think really, because I said I didn't want to hear. So I was just like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And
how are you feeling now, though?
I feel amazing that I'm at the doing it.
Brilliant. That's good.
It's again, that accomplishment you feel when you face the
it's great, isn't it?
It's
fantastic.
Yeah. So I don't think I have anything else to say. I'll probably go home and go, I should have said this, or I should have said that,
all the time.
And I'm kind of reaching about, to be honest with you, I have had very little sleep, and I'm literally running on air right now.
I have a sick baby. You don't fucking look it.
Yeah.
You look really well for someone. You really do, honest. But you know what I've just noticed looking at you, because we're the same age, and I knew there was probably a year or something. There wasn't much between us. And when people are doing that work, it really shows in them. from the minute you knocked at the door there, like, and I opened the door to you, like, I was like, oh my God, she's so fresh-faced, she looks so young.
Thanks very much.
No, you really do. Like, you're glowing clearly from the inside, but
Yeah.
it's showing on the outside, Michelle. You know,
Thank you.
and it's great because you hear people, and I suppose I didn't know anything about you. I really didn't.
No.
I knew nothing, only that you were opening up a new place. I was like, oh, she's doing all this stuff
Yeah.
now. That's amazing and that's brilliant. And I said to you, I had been years running away from where I came from and the people
Yeah.
I grew up with, because I thought that if I did and I forgot about everything, that I would make me better.
Yeah.
And I've learned with doing this that going back and reconnecting
But
with
you have to go backwards
my
to go
tribe,
Yes.
you know, I have been feeling better than I've ever felt. And these are heavy subjects we
Yeah.
talk about, but there's something in it for me, like healing.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody is
Yeah.
getting the same something out of it.
And you were, and I said to you before, you're putting it, you're giving the likes of me a platform where we wouldn't normally have a platform to share our stories, to share what we're doing, because to put yourself out there and want to help people, it's difficult within itself, but to be able to do it on a level that you're given is amazing. I should be very proud of yourself.
You said something to me though, and it's funny because I thought the same, and it's just negative thinking of ourselves. You said, like, I was thinking, who would want me on a podcast? Because I'm like a nobody. No one would know who I am. And it was weird when you said that. And I was like, the main reason for doing this was just to have normal people living with challenges and struggles, with change, with healing, and to share all that and come. But it was funny that you said that, because I would have that opinion. Sure, who'd want to listen to me? Or who'd want to, you know, have me on something? Like, it's still that.
And you're amazing. Look at what you're doing.
No, look, it's as I said, Michelle, it was a real burning desire to provide a platform for myself to start with. And it's funny because I didn't even like saying that, because I thought it made me sound selfish.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? And that's a win within itself, that now you can say this.
Yeah, but it was a real case of, I want to be seen and heard, and I'm not stones.
Exactly.
And if no one is going to do it for me, I'm going to do it for myself.
And you're the best person to do it.
And then you can have all these people. It was absolutely amazing connecting with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
How well you are and everything you've been through. Because I know, as you said before, you never think we're addicts when we're on prescription pills. And I've been in rehabilitation twice, and I can say the people that came in who has really struggled has been people on prescription drugs.
Yeah, because they're so accessible, and they don't even have a stigma as such, depending on what your opinion is of them, but you just think that they're so easily accessible, they're so socially acceptable, and they're almost given too freely.
Absolutely. Like, it's just like, well, it's like a quick fix for people, and then people feel they can't do it without them, and then you're snowballed. But I know there was a lot of other stuff as well in your childhood that you were able to touch on. And as you said to me when you rang me, nobody goes into this work that hasn't had trauma.
Don't get out unscathed.
Yeah, or that hasn't had a bit of a shitty part of their existence, you know. And that is true. But in turn, it's great because we get to give back as well.
Yeah.
I have one question I ask everybody. If you could tear down any wall in society or for yourself, what would it be that would help society or help us as people? Or
I suppose, like, even like, just again, if it was to do with emotions, the self-judgment, taking everything personal, not being able to speak kindly to yourself about yourself. If you were able to look at yourself through the eyes of other people and how they see it, how different would you treat yourself as if you were your own best friend? So if you could tear down any walls, it would be the part that you use to hurt yourself.
To celebrate it, well, to be able to celebrate ourselves and say nice things about ourselves that we say to everybody
because it matters
else.
So much, matters more than we know.
Yeah, we need to start talking to ourselves, and I hope people really get that they start sort of giving themselves. We say in AA, like, put that stick down, and for some people it's put down the trunk of the tree, because we're very good at ripping ourselves. And not seeing the positive stuff.
1,000,000%.
So that's a great one, Michelle. Thank you so much. That was insightful. And I'm really looking forward. No, I genuinely mean this. It was great to listen to you. I was confused at times. And you could see it.
I could. And then I was like, because my husband would say to me, you go off. And I'm like, I tried to rein it in because I'd have to remember.
It's very hard when you're passionate. But I am curious, and I'm definitely going to give it a go, because I feel like it's a part of myself that I could tap into more.
Even come down, I do classes as well in the Balrodry Heritage Centre. I'm doing another class next Wednesday, the 28th, to introduce a 7-week program that I'm doing. And again, the 7-week program is about foundational stuff from survival into safety, all the way up from your root chakra all the way up to your crown chakra, and then each one will represent self-love, self-care, self-worth, self-acceptance, self-realization. And so it gives you an overall full toolbox to take with you. It'll teach breath work, it will teach mindfulness, it will teach different ways of thinking and being, how to show up for yourself, being the observer, the watcher, the witness, and then asking yourself in-depth questions within the moment to open up within us an answer from a higher source, because sometimes the answer is always within.
It's not like self-actualization.
It's self-actualization. So you never think to ask the question. So you might not, sometimes the questions are difficult to answer in the moment because you've never asked yourself the question, but it opens up within you the ability to welcome in the answer. So it's like, it's transformational. They're not relaxation classes, they're transformational. They start with opening and
it's like
teaching.
Punching out like a hole in something. It's allowing
exactly it. And I'm not saying you're going to be healed in 7 weeks, because it doesn't work like that. Anybody who promises you that is a liar. So where it opens up within you an avenue and a knowledge and awareness and an understanding, and it gives you an opportunity to experience in real time what the hypnosis feels like, the cord cutting, the ceremony, the spiritual armor that you put on each and every day. It gives you things that you can take into the real world every single day to overcome the anxiety, to overcome, because depression is suppression. You're pushing down the emotions, but when you can understand what them emotion messengers are trying to teach you, then you're able to then
allow them in and then release them.
And then again, as I said, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So it changes everything. You're cleaning that lens of perception. You're not looking at it through a dirty, cluttered mind.
I like that, cleaning the dirty glass, so we get to see with a bit more clarity.
Then you see other people's journey, and you see that everybody is haunting in some way, and they're probably projecting, but not to take it personal. You know what I mean?
I know. And I've been able to be more compassionate now because I can see that person can't see that yet.
But you can only give compassion to someone if you're giving it to yourself. You can't give it to someone if you're not well. If you know what it feels like.
It's weird that you say that, because I have been only with doing all that, and I have been able to be compassionate towards
and
myself.
It's a genuine
but
compassion.
I am able to look at people now and say, do you know what? I can see that you're haunting and you're not there yet. I'll take myself out of the environment, of the situation, and allow you to be able to look and try and, because I've learned that you can't.
And they say hurt people, but healed people heal people.
Well, that's very true. And I've said that on the podcast, hurt people, because I've hurt a lot of people when I was haunting Michelle. What does people go on to? I was nearly forgetting this, very important. What's your web?
Well, the website is under construction because the business is very new, and I was waiting on, because I'm doing the back to work enterprise allowance, so I was waiting on these different avenues to open up for me. So I'm being helped immensely by the local Intrio office, by Empower in Balbriggan, by all these different
brilliant
establishments that are designed to kind of help people like me start up businesses. To put their trust in you, to put your faith in you, and then you have to show up and then provide a successful, viable business. So here I am doing it, and I will do it. I know I'll do it.
Michelle. No, I listen. So I believe that you will.
The business on Instagram, I'm The Feeling of Healing. On Facebook, it's The Feeling of Healing Reiki Mindfulness.
And
then my own personal page is attached to the Instagram page. But
and it's Michelle Martin Boylan.
And I am yet to like, I'm a tech dinosaur.
You and me both.
Antoinette is going to help me do me LinkedIn and set up my social media. I didn't even know where a bio was really till like only a while ago. People are sending me links to my bio, and I'm like, what is a bio?
I keep doing stupid things, like if someone messages me, I'm sending them back on the same message, and Carla is like, give me the phone, cause go away. Like I'm absolutely brutal. It was 80s, wasn't it? We were born in
I have no interest in it, but I know that I have to, so I have to go into these areas.
That's the killer, isn't it? That's the killer. You have to learn a little bit about it.
Every day is a school day. I'm learning a lot, but I'll get there. I'm trying not to think of the bigger picture. I'm just taking one step at a time.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Keep it in your 24 hours. I wake up some days and I will not, on a Tuesday, I will not think of Thursday. I can't. Like, it's Tuesday. That's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
And that's how I get through.
But that's the best way to do it. Because
that's how I got through the last 4 years.
And then you wake up tomorrow and yesterday's done and dusted.
And you know what? I could be in a completely different form. I'd be like, I'm like, ready for the day. That feeling of yesterday is completely lifted. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm like, it's a nice way of living, Michelle.
It's the only way to live.
I know, but we don't know that.
We don't know until we learn it. And experience it.
Yeah, no, well, that's true, isn't it? I wish you all the success.
Thank you so much.
Like with everybody, I keep in contact. It's nice, a little text and whatever.
I definitely want to go on the next week.
15th of February, it'd be great to have you there because there's other girls that do similar things. You hear all the conversations. You're not really engulfed in any particular one, but there's all these little nuggets of everything getting thrown around. It's brilliant and it was a great success. So it'll be great to see you at the next one.
I'd be delighted.
And I'm only up the road from you, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that's interested in it. So the best of luck, Michelle.
Thank you so
and much. Thanks so much for tonight and your energy, which was lovely. It really was. Yeah, and I usually give a nice hug before we finish up. Thanks so much. Thank you. That was lovely. That's the longest hug that I've gotten so far. That was
I'm a hug. It's like heart to heart. You have to have the 3-second hug, heart to heart.
I don't know what that is, but you'll explain to me in a minute. Michelle, thanks so much, and thanks for everyone for listening.